who are joining us new, let me introduce myself. I am Prasad Rao, Principal Solutions Architect at AWS here in London. I've been with AWS for 5 years. And yes, I do interview a lot at AWS. And to help you understand what we look at AWS in a solutions architect candidate, mainly when we shortlist. Today we have Camelia joining with us. She's a recruiter at AWS, and I'll let her introduce herself.
Hi Prasad and everyone else. So I'm Camelia and I'm a technical recruiter as per the introduction. I've been a technical recruiter for a very, very long time. And I've basically dedicated my career to helping individuals navigate the complexities of job applications and interviews. I'm passionate about demystifying the hiring process and sharing insights that empower candidates to succeed. So yeah, I'm excited to delve into this topic. So yeah, thanks for having me here, Prasad.
Thank you, Camelia. So first question, I know that you hire a lot for the SA candidates, specifically in the EMEA region. So
Yeah.
when you if there is a job, what are the specific key qualifications of the background that you or the recruiters look when searching for a solutions architect candidates?
Mhm. Well, that's a very good first question. Since we are speaking about solution architects, I must confess that basically we are looking for two things. So first would be the technical and functional fit, and the second one would be the behavioral fit, or how people see as soft skills. When it comes to the technical fit, we are not looking for a specific skill set. We are generally looking for candidates who are experts in their field. So whether that is infrastructure, data layer, application layer, or microservices computing offer, it doesn't matter so much. What matters is that those candidates are expert in their fields and have a willingness to learn more about the AWS platform and services. Um, as well, we are looking for the soft skills, as I was mentioning. As the solution architect is basically a customer facing role, we are obviously looking for strong communicators. We are looking for candidates with customer facing skills, and also candidates that have experience leading technical projects and influencing technical decisions up to CXO, CEO level, and so on.
Yeah, you mentioned a few good points there. As solutions architect, yes, we are technical folks, but we also have a lot of customer facing responsibilities that we do, right? And yes, we do even talk to CXO level of customers. It also depends upon what level you're applying for. Like we do have associate solutions architects, we have principal solutions architect, and we'll dive deep a bit more into what requirements are required at each of the level. But let's continue the conversation. So if there is a job and people are applying for it through resume, they're applying through the resume, right? In fact, let's do one thing. If you're okay, I'm going to I'll share my screen and let's find a solutions architect job that is currently open. And then you can walk me through what happens step by step behind the scene when someone applies there.
Absolutely.
Cool. Let's do that. Let me share my screen. So Amazon.jobs, it doesn't matter. Like, does it matter where people apply from? Do they apply from LinkedIn or do they apply from Amazon.jobs or somewhere else?
No, it doesn't really matter. When you look for Amazon jobs on LinkedIn, you will see that it redirects you to our Amazon job portal. So either Amazon jobs or LinkedIn, they all end up in the same queue of applications.
Okay. So if let's say someone applies from there, does it happen that AI filters them out? Like everyone thinks about that there is some ATS system that filters the resumes, and there is no human actually looking into their resume, and that is why their resumes are not getting shortlisted. Is that true?
No. We don't use AI or an applicant tracking system, ATS basically, to automatically screen or reject candidates. Our hiring process involves basically human recruiters like myself reviewing applications manually. So if you ask me what this means for candidates, so basically each candidate should know that every application is reviewed by a recruiter. So formatting tricks like beating the ATS, stuffing keywords in one place are absolutely unnecessary. We also look for experience, skills, and alignment with our leadership principles, just rather than just matching keywords. So to make sure that the CV is as detailed as needed. And also, I think that it would help if candidates would have a personalized and well-structured resume. because it matters more than AI optimized ones, considering especially that a recruiter reviews the CV. So of course, we do have internal tools. We manage candidates automatically with the help of different tools, but there's absolutely no automatic filtering method. So we do encourage candidates to craft their CVs as it would have been read by a person, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, cool. And there are some questions that I see on the screen very quickly. I'll start answering them. How to get shortlisted in AWS, Sunil? That's what we are going to discuss right now. Do we have any link or document share about how many rounds of SAs? Wait for the next session that talks about end-to-end SA interview process at AWS. The question after that is, what are different job levels for solutions architect inside AWS? We'll talk about it in a moment. The question after is really interesting, given you might be receiving so many resumes, and that is one of the questions that I want to ask. And for that, let's find a job for solutions architect, and then we will see if you receive, like, best case scenario, you will receive few resumes and you're able to shortlist. But
Yes.
like if you're receiving hundreds of applications, how are you going to shortlist, right? So we'll talk
Yes,
about that.
absolutely. Yeah.
And let's search for this in London location. What do you think? You and me both are in London location. So let's search for this in London location, a solutions architect job, and let's see if we find any solutions, any openings. Senior solutions architect. So for the person who has asked the question that how many levels do we have for solutions architect? In fact, at AWS or Amazon, we have multiple levels starting from L4, which is kind of associate. If you see here, solutions architect intern, that starts at L4, right, Camelia?
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
L4. And this a senior would be a L6. And if it's just solutions architect, that would be a L5 role. And as you can see, there are multiple roles here. One is senior solutions architect for a hybrid for ERO. One is for an intern. Then we have a specialist solutions architect for Amazon QuickSight. Then we have Gen AI as specialist solutions architect. Of course, that has to be there. Then we have a partner solutions architect. Then we have another partner solutions architect. Then we have a principal solutions architect. That's a L7 role. So as you can see, we have multiple roles here. So Camelia, which one do you want to go into? Should we pick this one? Anyone else you prefer?
Let's choose the enterprise transformation one.
Enterprise transformation. Yes, that makes actually good sense because there are specific skills that would be required for this. Okay, now even before talking about like how you screen the resumes, as a candidate, I land upon this role. How should I look into this role and feel that okay, I am a good fit or not, whether I should be applying for this or not? And secondly, if I feel that as per my experience or as per my skills, I feel that this is the right role for me, what things I should mention in my resume so that when I click apply now and it receives you look at the resume and say that okay, let's shortlist this, because I have heard, and tell me if it is true or not, that a recruiter does not spend more than 7 to 10 seconds on one resume to shortlist or reject, right? So
That's probably true. Yeah. We
okay.
are very fast readers.
Okay, so yeah, so they will be having very less time to make an impression. So two questions here. First, what they should be looking into this to understand they're a good fit or not to apply, and if they feel that they're a good fit, how should that reflect in the resume?
Absolutely. When looking at the job description, like in general, this one or another one, basically I recommend candidates to focus on 6 key elements. So first, we have understanding the team and the company culture, and that you can usually see under the description. Then breaking down the job responsibilities. The third thing that I recommend them to look at is assessing the basic qualifications. The fourth would be evaluating the preferred qualifications. Then they should really consider the work environment. And then, obviously, as you mentioned, understanding the application and hiring process and how to craft their CVs to be selected for the role. So
Yeah.
let's start with the first one. So understanding the team and the company context. Um, through our description, you usually could understand the broad purpose of the role. So reading that, you can obviously ask yourself, what does this team do? How does it fit into the company's goals? Now, we are speaking about global IT and application outsourcing role, the one that Prasad is showing us here. That's what GBITS comes from.
Yeah.
And this is part of the partner organization. Now, the job's mission, as per the job description, is to help enterprise customers migrate and modernize IT infrastructure on AWS. And it does speak about the culture as well, because it emphasizes collaboration, customer obsession, and enterprise transformation. So how to assess fit from all these things? Well, basically, if you enjoy working with enterprise clients, partners, and large-scale IT solutions, then probably this role is for you. If you prefer something hands-on with more coding or strategic transformation, then maybe this role is not the right fit for you. Now, if we move further, we do have the key job responsibilities. And this section basically tells you what you'll actually do on a day-to-day basis. It also shows you how strategic, technical, or customer-facing the role is. And you can even get a hint on the seniority based on these key job responsibilities. Some examples here, as you see, include enterprise cloud strategy, migration and transformation, customer engagement, solutions development, process improvement, and so on. So how to assess whether this is a fit for you? Well, basically, if you have cloud migration experience, solution architecture expertise, if you enjoy consulting, then for sure you are a good fit. If you prefer pure hands-on coding or something with minimal customer interaction, then probably this role may not be ideal. Now, moving forward, we have a few descriptions about the company's culture. You can see why you would choose AWS, what we think about diversity and inclusion, how we define work-life balance, and so on. You should definitely read this in order to see whether your principles align with us and whether our company is a good fit for you. And then moving forward is the basic qualifications. So basic qualifications, as per the title, is the minimum must-have skills for the role. If you do not meet these basic qualifications, then probably you are not a good fit for the role. These basic qualifications, you should treat them all at once. So basically, it's not sufficient to meet just one of the basic qualifications. Usually, you really need to meet all of them in order to be suitable for the role. So for this role specifically, if you've worked with cloud projects and have a solid IT background, you would likely qualify. However, if you've never worked on cloud migration or enterprise IT projects, you may need more experience before applying. We do have another set of qualifications, which are the preferred ones. And as per the name, this is something that is nice to have, but not mandatory for this type of role. You don't need all of them for sure, but having at least one or a few of them gives you a bit of an edge. For this role, we would definitely welcome AWS expertise or solution architecture or IT consulting background, business communication, and so on. So bottom line is that if you only have the technical skills but lack the customer engagement experience, then probably this role is not for you, and you would need to improve a little bit more on the customer facing experience. So yeah, this is like the qualifications that you should consider when applying for the job, but that's not everything. I encourage candidates to also look at other things like work environment. For example, in this job description, somewhere at the beginning, it's mentioned travel up to 30% for customer meetings. So it also mentions global team collaboration. So if you enjoy traveling and meeting with global teams and discussing a project, then this role is for you. However, if you are restricted to travel, probably you should look for another solution architect role who doesn't have that work environment. So yeah, this is basically how to understand the role. And then, as Prasad mentioned, you should really understand what it takes for you to get into the application process and how to be successful there.
So let me recap. You talked about multiple things. Now, this seems to be a fairly senior level role, which requires people to have that level of experience to apply. Not all solutions architects. So do not get overwhelmed when you see such kind of roles. Try and find, and that's why it requires time for you to browse through hundreds of open roles and go through them to understand what fits your experience, right?
Yes.
And there was a question that is coding necessary to become a solutions architect? No, it's a good to have. It's not a must have. There are people completely from infrastructure background who might not be having coding experience, but they will be also a good fit for solutions architect role. Solutions architect role, if you have heard the previous session that was done by Jeff Barr and Paul Duffy, they talked about what's the role of a solutions architect. And there you would see that we have solutions architect as a generic as well as specialist solutions architect, right? So you would need deep level of expertise on one of them if you would like to become a specialist solutions architect. But in general, if you have a broad understanding of a lot of technologies, then also you're a good fit for solutions architect role. Now, yes, coming to basic and preferred, this is actually important. Like when I remember when I was applying for the role at AWS like 5 years before, I ensured that my resume shows everything that is there in the basic qualification. In the preferred, like here we have only 3 points. In some places you will say 7 or 8 points in the preferred. Do not get overwhelmed. You don't need to have each and every point in the preferred. Just a 2 or 3 points out of all the 7, 8 points, or one out of these three would be good enough, because they are preferred. There are a lot of other skills that you can bring onto table. Talk about those in your resume. Now, coming to that, there were a few questions here on the chat here, Camelia, about how long a resume would be. Like it should be 2-pager, 1-pager, longer, and especially as you mentioned that you are very fast readers and you look into a resume for 7 to 10 seconds. What are the pros and cons of of this particular question? What do you suggest?
Well, I would suggest everyone to craft their resume in order to make sure that it basically captures the exact level of skills and experience. And also, I would encourage people to make a resume that is basically personalized for the job in order to make it as short as possible. For example, if you are already in a solution architect role, then make sure that you capture in the resume your technical expertise, the project experience, the soft skills indicators, whether you have leadership experience, client interactions, speaking engagements, technical blog posts, or so on. Make sure to include the industry experience, because that is also important if you have relevant market experience and so on. And also the education and the certification, because it's important to see whether there is relevant degrees or professional certifications, and also continuous learning indicators. So as long as these bullet points are in the CV can be as short as possible. However, I would also include the professional experience, because it's important to see continuous work experience, how you evolve in your role, and so on. Those are equally important for a recruiter. And for candidates that do not have the solutions architecture experience, because I'm sure there's plenty that are just wanting to get into this type of job, I would encourage them to list in the CV everything that is transferable. So whether you have architecture, design, or customer interaction experience, or technical leadership experience, if you've worked with similar cloud platforms, or if not, what kind of certifications you have, whether you learned on your own about AWS, whether you demonstrate some strong technical foundation in your own domain, and so on. And if possible, to build an AWS project portfolio. Obviously, that is another thing that would get you further in the process.
Cool. So now I'll try and dive deep more on this. Now, you've made really good points about what a person should be showing on the resume. The length would not matter much as long as it catches the recruiter's attention, right? And you mentioned about so catching recruiter attention. Like, is there a hook that people should be putting on their resume so that, okay, this looks interesting? So what should be top things that should be having in front of, like, the resume?
Mm-hmm. I think that the hook of the resume is basically two hooks: the technical expertise and the soft skill indicators. So if you would ask me, I would prefer to see that on top of the CV. Like, I am experienced with this on the technical level, and I work with this kind of customers, and achieved this kind of project. So definitely including these two tabs at the beginning of your resume would basically be like a hook for the recruiter to read further and delve deeper into your experience and your CV. But to be fair, as a recruiter, we do see many CVs and we look through all of them, even if they are well captured, or maybe you need to read a little bit more to understand.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Okay, cool. I think there is a couple of questions on, I think, sponsorship. That how would a candidate know? So to everyone, AWS does provide sponsorship, but it's based on few roles. like I got sponsorship when I applied. So there are few roles for which AWS provides sponsorship. There are few roles for which AWS does not sponsor sponsorship. It totally depends upon role to role. Am I right, Camelia? That's what my understanding it is.
Yes, and I think there is a big difference between sponsorship and relocation.
Okay.
Whether we provide relocation for a certain role as well as sponsorship is usually visible in the job description on Amazon Jobs because it tells you. However, if you are already in the country and you need sponsorship, then you don't need to worry because Amazon provides sponsorship for every candidate that they select. We may not provide relocation all the time, but in terms of sponsorship, if you are already in the country, we will do our best to facilitate that.
Oh, that's good to know. Cool. Okay. Now let's switch gears. Okay, we understood that for this specific role, let's say if people apply and then you get a lot of resumes, you do screen through them as much as possible and use shortlist candidates and put it probably in front of hiring manager, right?
Yes.
But if you like more often than not, I believe so that there are roles for which you do not find the right candidate.
Exactly.
How do you search for the right candidates?
So indeed, there is more specialized roles or roles in different locations where the number of candidates, the applicants is not as high as we would hope. In these scenarios, we often turn first to our database because in our database we may find candidates that are close to the skill set or to the location we are looking for. We also reach out directly to candidates on LinkedIn. Obviously, we select them based on the jobs criteria before we reach out. And we also stimulate a lot referrals because we consider that great candidates bring great candidates, and we obviously trust our builders when they refer us with a candidate.
Great. Let's talk about when you search it on like LinkedIn, right? You search. So what, as a candidate, what should I showcase on my profile so that when a recruiter lands on my page, they feel that they are a good fit for AWS as a solutions architect role?
I think that the LinkedIn profiles should basically mirror the CV. I understand that there's basically different taglines and headlines for each tab on LinkedIn. However, it should definitely mirror your CV because when a recruiter receives your CV through the application and finds your profile on LinkedIn, they should realize that it's same person basically. When it comes to the skills per se, I would suggest to include everything related to technical expertise, the skills that one has worked on, and also to list the projects that they've been part of. And unlike applications, LinkedIn works a bit different because LinkedIn recruiters search on LinkedIn based on keywords, and those keywords are usually matched from either the LinkedIn profile or the skills tab of LinkedIn. So do make sure that you have as many skills listed there as possible because yeah, that's how recruiters basically initially filter your profile based on skills, based on location. And then as for the CVs, we obviously open the profile and we dive a little bit deeper. So do make sure that there's indication there about your soft skills and projects that you've worked on, and basically something that would hint us on the seniority that you have.
That's actually true. Hinting the seniority is important in case if you have a good level of experience, then your LinkedIn profile or resume should reflect that.
Yes.
Instead of just saying that you have worked on this, if you talk about the impact that you have made, that showcases your seniority. Now there are some questions on the cloud certifications. Okay, is cloud certification important? When recruiters are evaluating the potential as a candidates, whether through resume or through LinkedIn.
Yes, that's a very good question. Well, what I can tell you is that having cloud certification surely doesn't hurt. So if you are already an experienced solution architect that has been working with cloud and this type of technologies for a very, very long time, then probably certification are not that important. Here's the reality. The certifications can definitely help you stand out, especially on LinkedIn, where basically recruiters use keywords to search for candidates. They can even use AWS certifications as keywords. But they are most helpful if you are just transitioning into the cloud role or you don't have direct experience. if you already have invested in learning AWS best practices and you have experience in working with AWS technologies or even other cloud-related technologies, real-world problem solving and hands-on knowledge, then probably the AWS certification is not that important, you know. Our interview process focuses on real world experience. You will ask about examples from your experience. So having this type of experience is almost equal to having an AWS certification. So yeah, if you are at the beginning of your career, I definitely encourage you to take the certifications, as basically shows your desire to learn and be curious and learn more about the platform and so on. But if you are already established in your career, then surely your professional experience amounts more than an associate level certification.
I love the way you keep dropping AWS leadership principles in between while you are speaking. that gets ingrained, right, when we are at AWS. So yeah, to
Absolutely.
summarize, if you are an experienced professional, then certification will not matter much. It's good to have, not a must to have. It's a byproduct that you would be having if you have the knowledge. But if you are
Yes.
someone who do not have experience working on cloud in your current job or your transitioning careers, then AWS certifications does provide a very good roadmap for you to learn, right? And then it also showcases your skills that you have taken that initiative, learned it, and you have got, and but also hands-on experience that matter a lot. So in case if you're not getting that hands-on experience in your current job, try if you are able to do some side projects on your own, and that is going to really help you. Okay, with that, I know we are coming almost to the end of it, and I see Ashish on the screen. So yeah, Ashish, go for it. Ashish, you're on mute.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, go for it.
Okay, interesting discussion, Prasad and Camelia. And I thought like if we have more time, we could have discussed, and probably that's why we need Camelia again in our chat session. So she's coming again. So hold on to your questions, some of you. And I have two questions which I'm picking up from the chat. First one is about how much is importance of cover letter? Do you actually read it or you discard it?
It's a very good question. I think it as well depends on the job level and the candidate's level. For very senior jobs, executive level jobs, senior principal level, we do expect candidates to know why they are interested in the role and understand very well the context and how they would match that specific role. However, for more junior roles, or maybe for instances where candidates do not have direct experience with AWS, I think it would be very beneficial for them to drop a few notes why they consider them suitable, what sort of transferable skills they have, and how they think they would be successful in their role. So yeah, I think it depends a lot on the candidate's level.
Makes sense. And I want to pick one more question here, just from Usav. Does referral help? It feels like in current world, everything goes into a black box.
Well, in general, I would say that they definitely do not hurt. We do evaluate candidates based on skills and experience and alignment with the leadership principles, not just whether they got referred or not. So while referrals can certainly open you the door because someone from the company uploads your CV in the portal basically, and they can maybe even ping the recruiter for you to get your CV in front. It doesn't guarantee anything. What guarantees you a job is a well-crafted CVs, the qualifications, the experience, the interview performance, and so on. Having a referral, obviously, besides the interview, the initial interview stage would help you down the line because you get a chance to ask about the interview process, how to be more successful. You get more insights in the job. So yeah, obviously a referral is important, but it is not mandatory to get a job or even to get your CV viewed by a recruiter.
That's true. So think about referral, not just that getting your resume shortlisted, but also as a means that you have someone in the company who can help you through the entire process. You can understand what kind of questions are being asked. We can help you prepare for the whole interview process. So build your relationships so that you are, it helps you in the long term rather than, hey, here is my resume. Can you please refer me to this role?
Yeah,
If
that's
that
not going to
happens,
help.
it's not going to help. See, because if someone I know really well and they reach out to me, I not only just put their resume in the system, but I also go a mile extra and ping the recruiter and the hiring manager saying that, hey, I referred this person. Can you have a look? Right.
Exactly.
So that might help. So build that level of relationship and trust with your referrers so that they will go extra mile for you. And that's when it's going to really matter. Otherwise, very frankly, If your resume is good, then it will be all good. I know a lot of people who have just applied directly and they have been able to get in.
Makes
Okay.
sense. Yeah, means I see people like when I post a job posting on LinkedIn, people just say, I'm interested. Come on, what does it mean? Should I go to you and ask for your resume? Talk to me, right? So
Yeah.
it makes sense to be a little proactive in this type of thing. But yeah, it's a great session, Camelia. Prasad asked very good question, and people, we may not be able to answer every single question you had, but keep them coming. And Camelia is again coming on our show, so we would have more chat with her and we'll understand things in much better ways.
Yes, we understand that you will be having a lot of questions about solutions architect as a role, the interview process. Look at the agenda of the 8 weeks. This is just the second week. We have 6 more weeks. The next week, the agenda is understand the full end-to-end interview process. The week after, we'll talk about specifically dive deep on the online assessments. Then the week after, we'll dive deep about technical interviews. Then the loop interview. Then we have an Amazon bar raiser coming on. So we have a full series plan to help you understand end-to-end the role of a solutions architect and how you can be successful in this particular role. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. And we will hopefully have more conversation. Keep your questions coming, provide feedback, like YouTube, put information on LinkedIn so that we know that you are enjoying, and any feedback is good feedback. So please share. And thank you, Camelia, so much, Prasad, and we will see you all again. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.